James Twin for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so very interesting news, a very interesting rumor is swirling around, and I wanted to get my early preliminary thoughts on it because I do think this is a very intriguing matchup. Rayo Valenzuela, the newly crowned WBA 140-pound champion. He had a great performance against Isaac Cruz where he outboxed him and really just exposed flaws, like tons of flaws Isaac Cruz been having. And, congrats to him. It was a great win. And he's been looking for an opponent for a little bit of time now. It was rumored that he was supposed to be Gervonta Davis. Then we heard about him potentially fighting Isaac Cruz in a rematch. Then he's had like a trainer split. He was with Jose Benavidez Sr. And going into the Pitbull Cruz fight, he switched to Robert Garcia. So it's been all kinds of things going on in the career of Rayo Valenzuela. He's always been an exciting fighter, always willing to take on tough challenges. And it's been reported that his next fight will be March 1st on the Gervonta Davis Lamont Roach undercard, which seems to be that fight. It keeps getting moved from here to there and everywhere. So that fight was supposed to be in Texas. Now it's supposedly going to be in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. We'll see when we get the official announcement. But right now we're hearing Gary Antuanne Russell versus Rayo Valenzuela. And truth be told, I have mixed feelings. I have very mixed feelings about the fight because as far as style-wise, matchup-wise, I think it's a great matchup. I think it's a very fun matchup. This is a matchup that I wouldn't have mind seeing when they were both kind of prospects on the come up. I think they both have similar things in their style, tendency-wise, or attribute-wise, I should say. Rayo Valenzuela is a southpaw, just like Gary. Rayo Valenzuela is explosive and can knock you out, and has punching power, just like Gary. I think there's some similarities, but let's just be real. Gary Antuanne Russell's coming off of a loss. He fought Alberto Puello for at the time the WBC interim title, and he lost that fight. I was there. I was there. I was on the undercard of Tank versus Frank Morin. He lost that fight, and one of my boxing gospels, if you will, is thou shalt not get a title shot coming off of a loss. But in boxing these days, we see it so many times. Guys lose fights, and they get a title shot coming off of a loss. A great example of that is when Sebastian Fundora got knocked the hell out and sent into another dimension by Brian Mendoza, and then got a title shot against Tim Tszyu. And the crazy thing is he won the fight against Tim Tszyu, so he made the most of his opportunity. So it can pan out for the guy that is coming off of a loss. But I just believe that if you are coming off of a loss, you should have to work your way back up. So that's my opinion on the matter. But as far as the fight itself, I think it is a winnable fight for Gary Antuanne Russell. Puello, I think he's a different. He's a different kind of fighter than a guy like Rayo. Puello isn't going to give you as many chances to hit him cleanly. I think Puello does a better job at slowing the pace down. I think Puello is a better technical fighter than Rayo Valenzuela. Now, that's not to say that Rayo Valenzuela can't be a good technical fighter, because he showed that he could box a disciplined 12 rounds against Isaac Cruz. But boxing a disciplined 12 rounds against Isaac Cruz and boxing a disciplined 12 rounds against Gary Antuanne Russell are two different things. Pitbull Cruz fights in a high guard. He's shorter. Rayo had he had a pretty good advantage reach-wise, so he was able to exploit that. In this particular case, Gary Antuanne Russell is not a high guard fighter. He's a fighter that likes to put his punches together, and I'm very intrigued to see if the fight does happen. I'm very intrigued to see how does Rayo approach the style of a Gary Antuanne Russell. Does Rayo Valenzuela does he operate as a counterpuncher in this fight? Does he get on the front foot? There's so many ways this fight could play out, and I think this fight is going to be will be a very explosive fight. You'd have to think Gary Antuanne Russell coming off that loss. Mind you, Gary Antuanne Russell was a guy that coming into the Puello fight, not only was he an undefeated fighter, he had knocked out and vanquished every man he fought. He was 17-0 with 17 knockouts. Albeit some of those knockouts against Bartholomew and I think Postal, a little premature for my liking, but still, he was 17-0 with 17 knockouts. And so coming off that loss, I think he will have learned some things about himself. I think he will have learned some things about, you know, what he needs to get what he needs to get better at. And if he asked himself the hard questions and went to the gym and went to work and fine-tuned and corrected those things, then I would expect to see the best Antuanne Russell Jr. coming into this fight. And boxing's a funny game because, as my good buddy Stacey McKinley and as Don King says as well, today's nobodies or yesterday's nobodies or today's somebodies, meaning that, you know, a guy could be known as a loser or nobody in boxing, and all it's gonna take is that one big fight, right? And this could be that for Gary. Gary right now, people are like, well, Gary doesn't, like me, Gary doesn't deserve the title shot. He lost to Puello. But sometimes in life you get opportunities unexpectedly, when even sometimes when you probably don't deserve them. So you have to be prepared for your opportunities. And he's getting that opportunity, and it's on Gary to prove if he's really on that level. Because I'll tell you this, if he loses to Rayo, you know, I'm not gonna throw Gary to the wayside. Gary's still a good fighter, but you know, losing to Puello, losing to Rayo, that would be two losses to two of the best fighters on his resume, the best two fighters on his resume. Because, you know, Bartholomew and Posto are good fighters, but Bartholomew and Posto are both, you know, past their best years. These are two fighters in now, Puello and Rayo, who are like closer to their prime. So I think Gary needs to come out and win. I think Gary needs to exploit. He's gonna have an advantage, I think, in a slight advantage in the hand speed department. I don't think he has an advantage in the punching power department. I think Rayo does have more like concussive one punch power. I think Gary has more of the power where he's got to put things together, you know, land 2, 3, or 4. So I think defensive responsibility for Gary is going to be key in this fight. You know, making sure Rayo doesn't land that one big single shot and doesn't grow in confidence. And then while he's doing that, make him miss, make him pay, frustrate and control the pace of the fight. That's how you beat Rayo. And for Rayo, I think Rayo needs to mix it up. You know, just be as unpredictable as possible. Box Gary early, you know, and then press him in the middle rounds, and then try to really hurt him in the middle rounds once you get your rhythm. So, good fight on paper. I think I've seen a lot worse as far as fighters and their first world title defense. I think it's actually quite, honestly, it's a very tough first world title defense for Rayo. So, if the fight does get done, then credit to both men in advance for taking the fight and stepping up and giving the box fans a good fight, even if Gary is coming off of a loss and he really shouldn't probably get in the fight. But you know what? Boxing's gonna boxing, so just enjoy the damn fights. So leave your comments down below. What do you guys think? Who you picking if it does happen? Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys click right over here.